Hey Picklers, it's the Burrs here again. Just thought we'd do another video to fill you in on what we've been up to here in Texas.
Yeah, so we made our trip from Houston to Austin since last time we spoke. That was an interesting trip. We had to get a coach from Houston, and when we got our Uber at 10 o'clock in the morning to the bus station, well,
it was actually just a vacant parking lot. The bus was running quite late, so we had to spend a fair bit of time at this quite a dodgy parking lot. Lots of colourful characters wandering around. One guy with a plank of wood in his hand, swinging it around and calling
yelling
out
at people. There's a lot of homeless around that bus shelter. Well, bus stop, you would call it, car park. Very, very sketchy. A lot of people weren't even willing to come to the bus stop until we were there and they could see other people to be around.
Yeah, it was quite interesting because we were there with our massive suitcases, 4 massive suitcases, plus our pickleball bags, the kids in tow. It started raining, so like drizzling, and then the bus was quite late, so it was, and then we were just obviously a little bit worried that this bus wasn't even going to show up, and we didn't know what to do because we checked out of accommodation and we got there by an Uber, so we literally had nowhere to go. But thankfully the bus did arrive, managed to get on board. I think the bus driver might have missed a stop, so we had to kind of loop back through Austin and pick people up. He stopped 3 times to use the bathroom on the way on the bus, which was different. And
if we had have driven, it would have taken less than 3 hours to get from Houston to Austin, but this trip seemed to take all day. I don't think we sort of got in until later in the afternoon.
About 4, so we hadn't had lunch or anything like that. We pulled up finally, we made it to Austin again, got dropped off into like a vacant parking lot in the city, in a kind of a dodgy-ish kind of spot.
Very dodgy.
Thankfully we had our wheelie bags and we just sort of walked through a couple of streets and found like a very tiny little restaurant, and we thought we'll just grab something quick to eat before we find our accommodation and stuff, because we're all really hungry at this point.
While we were sitting at the restaurant, there was a guy directly across the road, no more than 40 meters away from where we were, and he managed to sell drugs about 5 times to people talking to themselves in the time that we had lunch. So it was a pretty eye-opening first, what would you call that? First glance at what we're in for in Austin. But in all honesty, since we've been here, the place has been fantastic. It's sort of similar to Brisbane in Queensland.
Yeah, it's got like a bit of a laid-back vibe. It's quite green. There's lots of sporting facilities and stuff. It's not a massive city as well.
I don't really know how many people would be here, but it seems like it's kind of a similar size to Brisbane, possibly. The people here have been so amazing. Really, really good people, particularly at this court. We're at the South Austin Recreation Center, and as you can see, they got some courts, pickleball courts specific, and
we've had quite a few practice sessions down here. Met some really nice locals. Met up with Stefan down here, a local pro. We've had some really good hits down here.
Yeah. So after we met up with Stefan, we organised Sarah organised a hit with him, Sarah, David, and Massimo. Do you know his last name?
Not sure. We've met so many people here, it's hard to keep up with all the names. But yeah, we had a good hit. That was at the Austin High School. So we practiced some rally scoring, and we practiced with the Franklin X40 balls because they were all planning to play in the minor league pickleball. So I was just invited along as a 4 so that they could play some doubles. So that was really good fun. Shannon got some good drone footage.
We met up with Leslie.
Yeah, we met up with Leslie here. So Leslie Roberts, who I met online just before the US Open. We kept in contact from the US Open, and she was down here drilling at SARC, and we arranged to do some more drills. And she also asked me if I wanted to be put down as a bit of a sub for minor league, which I agreed to. And then a couple of hours later, I got a text from Jake from minor league at Dreamland, and he'd asked me to form part of a new team. They had a whole team pull out of the Duper 22 division, and they needed to fill it fast just so it kept the draw intact. So I was lucky enough to be invited along to that.
So Sarah got to play in the MLP, but another thing that was pretty awesome that happened this week was we went to Steve Kuhn's house. It's a beautiful house overlooking Austin City. and that was for a party for the MLP. We met some pretty cool characters there from MLP, some players and some of the organisers. All great people, such a cool experience. Yeah, that was really awesome. But seeing Dreamland, I think, has been the highlight of this trip. That was probably the thing we were most excited about with coming to Austin. We actually didn't intend for Sarah to play in any of the competitions here, but we turned up and we just got lucky with you being able to play in some comps.
Yeah, and it was great. Like, we had zero expectations with the MLP. Obviously, just being a team that was thrown together at the last minute, but we did have some good wins, and we had got to play some dream breakers. Won a dream breaker, which was really nice. Narrowly missed out on making it through to the semi-finals, which was really good, and then had a really close game against the eventual finalists, the Florida Smash, which included actually Josh Elliott. That team, I played a mixed doubles match against Austin and Drew, and lost that one. Had some match points and lost it 22-20. So pretty happy with that, really. We're one of the few teams that actually had 2 men and 2 women. We were quite happy with the results, but most importantly, it was just fun to try out the MLP format, and I'm excited to bring it back to Australia and encourage clubs and organisations to give it a go, because it's really spectator friendly. Even once I'd finished playing yesterday, we hung around and watched some of the semi-finals, and it's just nail biting, and the whole idea of every point mattering, and faults meaning points, unforced errors meaning points. It just makes for really good viewing, so I really like that. Some other things that have happened while we're here: I managed to get quite sick. I had some dodgy fried chicken, which put me out of action for basically 3 days. That's why I've been a little bit quiet on the socials this week, just recovering. But thankfully, I think I'm just about over that now. It just was obviously not good to be playing minor league on an empty stomach and all the rest of it. But you just take your health for granted.
No, we're glad to see that Sarah's back up and running now. She's at full health, or pretty much. So, yeah.
We've had some fun little adventures too, just local sporting shops.
Yeah, so we went and checked out a local sporting shop. They're absolutely enormous here, and one of the parts in the sporting shop is the gun section, and I just can't believe how cheap and easy to get the guns are. It's pretty mind-blowing.
And we also went and visited a thrift shop and had some fun trying on some different outfits. The kids managed to pick up some outfits for Halloween, which is tonight. Shannon found some rainbow capes and I don't know, cowboy hats, and I found some cowboy
all the fabulous
boots.
Stuff I like.
Yeah, all the bright, colourful, sequiny, shiny stuff. So no, we've had a really good time here.
Yeah.
We've met some amazing people. Like Leslie was really kind to us as well. Like we had a bit of a situation with trying to store bags. We had to move Airbnbs and mid-trip, and couldn't fit our bags in our car and had to do some shuffling around. So she was really helpful with that.
She's been really good, really helpful.
Yeah, and just lining up hits for us and allowing us to borrow nets so we can practice. And just the locals here at Sark, we met a
guy, Son. So he actually we were really short on onyx balls. They're very hard to get here, and we were fortunate enough that he said he had quite a few, and he gave us a bag of 12.
So kind. He also contributed to our GoFundMe.
Yeah.
We play with him for an hour or two here, and then that's pickleball. You make friends, and everyone wants to see a success story and help out. So that's exactly what they did. We've met many people. We've met also a nice man called Dane, who we had a hit with, and then he saw Benji practicing basketball on the sidelines here. There's a basketball court just behind us, and he actually is a basketball coach, so he spent probably half an hour, 45 minutes coaching Benji on how to shoot. Numerous people. We couldn't name them all, we wouldn't have time, but we're just that's pickleball for you. The people you can just travel on the other side of the world. Normally I'm not the type of person that can just go up and start talking to people, but that's when you've got a common interest. It just brings out
that common interest in pickleball. I can't imagine it's in too many other sports, but we've traveled from the other side of the world, meeting people for the first time, and the amount of people who are willing to help us, whether it's through helping out with accommodation, you know, donating to our GoFundMe, you know, giving us balls, happily having a hit with us, organising for Sarah to do some drills, all that sort of thing.
Discount codes for shoes when they see the state of my shoes and things, like,
We're so grateful, and that's the most beautiful thing about this sport, I think. So
yeah, we've had a great time here in Austin. So the next chapter is we're going to Fort Worth. So we're catching a train tomorrow morning to Fort Worth, where we're going to meet up with Riddell and stay with him for a couple of nights. He's kindly allowed us to stay with his family for a few nights, and then we'll start heading towards Rockwall for the Texas Open, which is a PPA tournament. So we're going to try and get a few more drills in here today. A bit of basketball with the kids. We've got Halloween tonight to look forward to.
We're really excited about Halloween. It's like Christmas here. Here in the US, they do up all their houses for it, and it's really exciting. Really exciting. I've got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre outfit, which I think is a bit fitting, being here in Texas. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you to everyone who's helped out. Thank you for everyone who's watching and subscribing, and we're very grateful.
Thank you, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.